So for this very first trigonometric equation, I've got to worry about the fact that I've got two different trig equations going on, and I look here and I can quickly do the Pythagorean identity to substitute in here. You know that cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta equals to 1. So sine squared theta is 1 minus cosine squared theta. So I'm going to do that substitution in right here. So I have 3 cosine theta plus 3 equal to 2. Replace that with the trig identity. Now I'm going to use the distributive property and reduce this algebraically. So I have 2 minus 2 cosine squared theta. So now this looks quadratic in nature. I'm going to bring both of these over to the other side of this equation. So I have 2 cosine squared theta plus 3 cosine theta plus 1 equal to 0. Again, this looks like a quadratic if you think of u substitution. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to take this equation and try to factor it. If you want to use u sub, you can, with u cosine theta. So I've got 2 cosine squared theta plus 3 cosine theta plus 1 equal to 0. So I'm going to do 2 cosine theta and cosine theta. That should take care of the first term in unfoiling this. The last term is 1. So when I've got 1, I'm going to do a 1 and a 1. And then I'm going to put plus signs. And then I'm going to check my inside and my outside. And when I look at those, I factored it. So now I can use the zero product property. So I've got 2 cosine theta plus 1 equal to 0, and cosine theta plus 1 equal to 0. So when is cosine equal to negative 1/2? When is cosine theta equal to negative 1? So I'm going to look on my unit circle. And when I'm looking on my unit circle, cosine is negative 1/2 at 2 pi over 3, so theta could equal 2 pi over 3, or 4 pi over 3. Again, you could put this in your calculator and do the inverse trig, and it would give you, if you did the inverse cosine of negative 1/2, it's going to give you 120 degrees. It'll give you this first answer, but not the second one. When is cosine negative 1? Cosine is negative 1 at pi. So those are my 3 answers, and since there's no restrictions here, they're wanting all solutions. So I'm going to take the 2 pi 3 and add a 2 pi, let's do n this time, a pi plus 2 pi n, and a 4 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n, where n is an integer. Let's check the graph on that. So I'm going to go back to Desmos. And I'm going to put in the original equation, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. And then I'm going to check. Here's my first answer. Here's my second answer. And then here's my third answer right there. And then you can see it's periodic, so then you would continue to add multiples. So now looking at number 2, I'm going to end the video because I've got a time limit on YouTube, and look at the next 2.